All right, you guys have a trading plan for tomorrow? You ready? Do you know what you're going to do if the trade setup that you're planning on shows up? Or are you just going in blind hoping that perfect little bull flag shows up? Well, guess what? Most of the time it's not going to show up. So we need to make a plan. So part of planning is preparing, reviewing, and what we're going to do now is look at a few tickers that members of the chart guys have requested that I take a look at. This is TCG tickers request. Now we're going to start looking at PRTY daily time frame. The reason I don't like this ticker is the fact that we had these two big red days. Yes, we expect a little bit of a bounce, but we are at risk of losing the daily trend in a pretty big way. You can see we have this overall support heading to the upside. We'll try and draw that in. It would look something like this. Now, we've dropped below that, bounced up. Now we're hitting that former support as a resistance, and we're seeing a red day today. So unless we are able to defend the low of the 24th in a pretty big way, we're at risk of seeing some more weekly consolidation. So I'm keeping a close eye on that one. Short term, I'm going to be looking bearish. We are in a 15-minute downtrend at this point. 15-minute lower highs, lower lows pretty consistently. So you have a bottom fish opportunity at around 264. But for bulls to get things going their way again, we need to see a lower high under 279 or a higher high, but ideally lower high, higher low, and then change that 15-minute trend. Right now, bears control the 15-minute. They control the hourly. The RSI is comfortable here in the 40s. We're not oversold yet. So bears are in full control. And until they change that story, we're going to be looking bearish on PRTY. The only real redeeming quality is if we do see a bear break, we do have some congestion in this area. So we could see a relatively short drop, but still that would have us looking for continuation on a 4-hour downtrend, because that would have our 4-hour uptrend change to 4-hour lower highs and then lower lows. So short-term bearish PRTY. Let's take a look at PENN. So this was an interesting one today on the 5-minute time frame. But let's start with the daily time frame. Little bit of chop. We saw that drop. We saw a indecision candlestick followed by a very confident high volume green move. But now we're seeing a little bit more hesitation. So if we ignore this action, which I never really do, but sometimes I like to squint at the chart and imagine what is happening outside the oddities. Now, if we do that, we have the potential for a bull flag. So what we need to do is see if there is any sort of trend that we can establish inside this range that we have fallen outside of but gotten back into. We're not going to treat it as a bull flag. We're just going to treat it as a sideways consolidation, or in this case, almost like a downside channel counter to the overall daily uptrend, which is just a fancy way of saying a contained range. So we're going to go to the 4-hour time frame, see what's happening here. We've changed our 4-hour uptrend to a 4-hour downtrend, so that's nice. We've got this little level to look at for a bull break. 73.20 is the current 4-hour resistance, and we have 4-hour support down here at 62.25. Quite a range. Hourly time frame, this is where it gets interesting. We had the 5-minute channel here. We had our hourly uptrend. We dropped pretty quickly. 15-minute oversold is likely, and then we got into a little bit of a bear flag situation. So what we're going to look for at this point is going to be continued lower highs and lower lows. If this is going to be a bear flag, it will look like a drop down. Probably, what's the range here? I would anticipate in this area, about 64 psychological seems like a reasonable place for us to go if this bear flag does indeed head that direction. Then some consolidation, maybe support, or a quick hourly turn at 62.25. 5-minute time frame for PEN. Here was that beautiful 5-minute range. My mouse is having some more problems, but it was more or less just a contained range up here. We bounced right off resistance, saw a short into the end of the day, managed to catch a little bit of that, but I settled out before the end of the day. I don't want it to carry too much over the next few days after hours, but a nice trade nonetheless. So what are we looking for short term? I would say short term bearish. I would like to see an execution of this bear flag. We're going to look for a loss of that trend, and we'll be in phase 3 of that bear flag with a loss of 67.77, and then we're looking for support underneath. Tesla, continuing inside this tightening range. Now we're in the area where we can start to hunt for a lower high. The space between this high and this high, if we, well, I'm not going to measure it out, but if we did, it's pretty close to that. So that's not a bad place for us to be looking for a lower high. And 2 days of indecision sort of hint toward a possible turn. Bears did lose the day technically with a green close and a lot of volatility in either direction. So we'll go to the hourly time frame to see what's happening here. A little bit of back and forth. We have resistance in the area of 428.27. We just got a little bit above that on today's high of 428.50. So there is a zone of resistance up there that we need to pay special attention to. We'll be watching for the loss of 15-minute support. Actually, let's go back to the hourly. What makes the most sense here? I guess all the way down to 406. The problem with that is by the time you are that tight inside this daily range, you have already been well on your way to establishing that new higher low. So if I'm playing Tesla and I'm expecting daily continuation, I'm going to look for a lower 15-minute lower high somewhere in this range, and then downside, looking for my short entry at that point. We'll break bull with a pattern break of 428.25, looking for upside continuation out of this daily equilibrium. So those are my two options for Tesla. TAN on the hourly time frame. Now I wanted to do TAN as a solar ETF simply because I'm a big solar fanboy and have been for a long time. But this sector has just shrugged off all weakness and it's getting a little bit extended. So I'm going to bring this one up because I want people to pay attention to it. I want you to watch for consolidation opportunities on big names that are really seeming to be immune to political issues. So that is something we can look for, a little bit of a safe haven perhaps as we head into periods of volatility in the overall market. So TAN Solar ETF, daily time frame, just getting an overbought today, 74.14. Not a stranger to being overbought. Weekly time frame, weekly higher lows, doing very, very well. Shrugging off that 47.98 lower low and continuing up. We do have resistance up here. So we would be paying attention to our resistance in the area of 60. Well, let's try if we can adjust that. 68.60. And then we got a little bit above that as well at 73.10. So paying attention to that on the weekly time frame. 4 hours. It's all about these higher lows, higher highs, my friends. We haven't consolidated too well on the 4-hour time frame. So that would be your first initial opportunity. 4-hour consolidation into upside continuation. What are we going to watch for? The loss of hourly higher lows. Look how quickly we have gone. I would say the closest thing we have to an hourly higher low is $61. Perhaps forming up something here. But keep an eye on this sector. Watch for good consolidation. And don't be afraid to take a long entry in solar. It may be a very, 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 very long entry. But as someone eloquently told me, I cannot possibly imagine a world without solar energy in the future. SQ, last one for the day. Daily time frame, indecision. We have resistance right above us at 170.61. This is 2 days of indecision. So what we're going to watch for is the loss of these consecutive daily higher lows. Each low of the day is higher than the next. When we lose that, then we're going to be looking for downside into a daily higher low. Our last daily higher low was right over here, 147.80. 4-hour time frame, doing well. Higher lows, higher highs. The higher low here is at 158.23. Again, watching for consecutive higher low losses. It's already started on the hourly. So at this point, we're going to be looking for a lower high under 167.56 into a new low, into 4-hour consolidation. That would be the best case for the bears. If bulls somehow manage to break over 170.46, well, they're going to be in great shape. With a weekly higher low established, a daily higher high and higher low looking good. That is it for today. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments below, or just send an email or whatever you want to do. I love chatting about charts. So yeah, I invite you to ask questions. Anyway, thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please do subscribe to the channel. Your subscriptions and your likes and all that stuff, it greatly appeases the YouTube, and it really helps us out. So thank you, and have a good day.